On this episode of the podcast, I have with me Yanyan Wu. She is the VP of Data and Analytics at Verisk. We're going to be talking about, how you become a data analytics leader. A lot of this is going to be around building and scaling your analytics team, dealing with the technology gap, helping train junior staff, and then also future leaders. You have to identify those people, the traits you're looking for, and I'm super excited to talk about this topic. So thanks for being on, Yanyan.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and a very exciting opportunity for me to go over my experience, share the insights that I have through the experience I have with data. First of all, I want to make sure that everybody understands. I don't think anyone was born as a data engineer or data scientist or data leader. Data is still very new. It's by training, I got a PhD in computer-aided design. It's in mechanical engineering, nothing to do with data. But however, I would correct that. Actually, all I do is about data, right? So it's just about what format of data. So today, a lot of time is we talk about structured data, non-structured data, or images or table data. But in my mechanical world, engineering world, that actually was a 2D, 3D data, geometry of the data, inspection data, design data, manufacturing data. It's all about data. So it does share a lot of commonality between what I train for and what I'm working on right now. Let me talk about quickly about what I do right now. So I lead a data and data analytics, data science team for Verisk. Actually, we're in the one of the subdivision in Verisk. It's called Wood Mackenzie. We provide energy data, financial data for our clients. So usually the clients come to us if they have an investment for energy project, for example, power plants, renewable project, oil and gas project. They would like to know what are the the return of the investment, what are productivity data, what are the government regulation, and we provide a lot of data for them as well as consultant service. That's what we do. But one of the things that is very unique in my division is the team that I led is mainly responsible for traditional oil and gas data. Not necessarily the hottest area that now, but as today, we all know that we want to transform to the next renewable energy world. However, it's not going to happen right away. So still, traditional energy data, such like oil and gas drilling data, is very, very helpful for clients in terms of for them to understand where the productivity improvement opportunity is and how they can invest to make money.
Awesome. Thank you for giving us the high level. I think that's a good background. And I guess diving into the topic, we're talking about, obviously becoming data analytics leader. There's a couple things you have to do. Number one is you have to build and scale your team. Obviously, that's one of the key components of it. One of the challenges that I think a lot of data leaders face is obviously technology, data technology has shifted to the cloud, a lot more software engineering. There's still a technology gap. Obviously, older data technologies are still evolving. When you're kind of looking at building and scaling your team, have you seen any of those challenges of needing some of the more modern data stack skills versus kind of having to deal with some of the legacy technologies?
Oh, definitely. I saw a ton of them. So I have an opportunity to work with a couple of big companies that in the past, in the data world, actually I built 2 times. I've built the data analytics team, data engineering team, data science team from scratch. So I have the opportunity to understand where I need to identify the technology gap for the company as well as the application needs. I think the gap, when you define the gap, first of all, you have to understand what is the use case or application for individual business, right? So a lot of times people say, oh, I heard this technology like Kafka, streaming technology is very, very cool. Let's jump onto that without think through how we can use that. So as I said, the first thing that you have to understand is really what's the use case, right? Do you really need streaming a service, right? If you need it, do you really need to build a skill set that understand every single details, nuts and bolts about Kafka versus leveraging like existing technology like Confluent or Kinesis, right? So the technology gap is I think a lot of time companies or business is doesn't spend a lot of time understanding the problem versus just jump very quickly and say, hey, I think everybody is doing this data governance, is doing this Kafka technology, is fancy data architect design. We need to have that team to do that versus look at this is where our business needs is. This is our the characteristic of our data, our platform, and that's how we need to build our data platform, a data strategy. So one example that in my previous experience, there's a company that I work with that they had they all want to jump onto the cloud technology, right? So it does look like it's a gap that everybody has individual database. They don't have data lake. Not mentioning about data lake house, all those more modern technologies. They have individual databases, but the problem is picking what cloud technology they're going to use so they can consolidate and to share all those common data lake and data warehouse, and then be able to share the common platform so achieve their business goal. Then you look into deeper, like each business has different needs, right? But eventually you have to look at the gap is if you have so many business that you probably have to have diversified strategy. So some of the business, right, their data is very, very small in terms of size, and that the frequency is not very high. So they probably doesn't need a data lake or data lake house, those kind of more modern technology. Probably traditional database serve their need. Right? They don't have to jump onto the best technology right away. Versus other business that I come across, they have high frequency sensor data that it's to the like thousands of hertz frequency that you have to collect within a second. So with the hundreds of sensors and decades of data, of course you need technology to process big data, really truly big data. So they need more advanced technology platform for them to work with. So the technology gap, when we try to identify that, so keep in mind and what's the use case? Do we really need the best technology? Because the best technology, of course, it's best. However, you have a lot of overhead, right? You have to train your team, be able to upscale, be able to use the best technology, and then evolving so fast. And versus more traditional SQL technology, small database, Power BI dashboard, that's something a lot of people can get their hands around very, very easily. So spend time to identify technology gap and understanding business case first.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Obviously, any of those technology decisions you make, that gap to your staff is going to be massive. But I guess, at some point, when you do make the shift, you're going to hire or make a decision to go into a new area. You are going to have to deal with that skill that you need, right? Like you're going to bring in a tool. No one really knows it. You can bring a consultant team in. Obviously, they'll bring in the staff. You'll pay the premium because they're the subject matter experts, but you still need to backfill. And then you still have your current staff. Do you train them up? Do you bring somebody net new to deal with it? But then does the existing staff feel left behind? So I guess, once, let's say, you have implemented something new, you've made the shift, you've got up and running. How do you handle, let's say somebody who's working with the older tool sets, looking at the newer tool set, going, hey, I want to migrate my skill sets as well. Like, obviously they want to, but someone is having to work on the new stuff that actually has the skills to work with it.
Yeah, this is Amir. This is always a challenge through my career, is getting the right people on team. Right. Sometimes in one of the role I have the privilege of hiring everything. I don't have to inherit anybody. So I've built a team from scratch. So it's a lot easier, right? So I go through very comprehensive interview process, has interview team, interview panels, has technical interview, non-technical interview, leadership interview. And then we have the technical challenge that they have to solve within certain period of time to test out their technical strengths and level. So those things are very easy to take care of if I hire some, always hire somebody by myself and don't have to inherit a team from anyone. However, that's not always the situation, right? Sometimes you have to work with cross-functional team, or you have to inherit some of the previous team that the previous leadership built. So upskill them, it's become definitely a challenge. So I think as a team leader, right, it doesn't matter where you are. It's just as high as Steve Jobs or Tim Cooks or Elon Musk CEO, or just a VP of a company or a senior manager of a company. You have to set up a goal for your team that you have to position yourself that look like you are a constant learner. You're always up to date to the newest technology. You have to set up a role model for your team in order to upskill them. And meanwhile, you have to come up with a strategy that motivate team to learn, right? So the culture of a team has to be learning and sharing. And then you have to come up with the feasible, actionable plan for learning for the team. I did come across some other teams that during my past career, that there's a manager just looks like to hear, like, I have every of my team member, 100 of them, they're able to sign up or finish one training a month or something like that. That's not a metric, right? The metric is how you come up with a learning plan that's relevant and to your team member. Relevant means they like to learn, and also once they learned, they can apply to what they do right away. It's just not a plan on the paper. So that's something that I always focus on. So for the team that I have, I always foster a very encouraging environment, encourage everybody to learn, and then we kind of have an award put in place, so people get awarded. They get recognition when they finish their learning, and then meanwhile that we encourage them to apply what they learned to their work, and then we share that in what we learned constantly and how we apply what we learned to solving the business problems. So in terms of finding a team member, right, a lot of time you can see, if you read a post, any like job posting, I don't think, to summarize what they're looking for is they're looking for Superman, Superwoman, and then with 100 years of working experience, they look for everything. I don't think, for me, when I build a team, I don't look for example, if I need somebody knows SQL, I have no problem to hire somebody that doesn't know SQL to be on my team, because I think SQL, I'm probably exaggerated, but you can learn in 5 minutes, right? It depends on what level. But if more advanced, maybe you learn a week at most. I think probably 2 or 3 days, you can get a very high level in terms of SQL, the advanced functions. But the key is we need to find the people who enjoy learning, who's good at learning, who's a good problem solver, and who's a visionary leader, if you want to look for a leader, right? So those are the things that I look for, is how they approach the problem, how they solve the problem in the past. And then I don't necessarily looking for what I really need, the skills. As you said, the skills get very easy to fill temporarily or even permanently. It doesn't matter if you use a cost-effective contractor, right? They can fill the skill gap. However, the problem-solving skills is not easy to fill. That skills needs to have for your core team member, and somehow we have to build up those skills. That can be trained a little bit, but not by large. So 50% of the problem-solving skills probably can be trained, but I would say another 50% is built through years, through their training from their elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. That's not something that can be easily trained with short period of time. So when you hire people, you really have to pay attention to looking for a good problem solver.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I guess identifying those skills very tricky. It's evaluating the challenge of a strong technical person, great analyst. That intersection is tricky because too strong a technical person, they may not understand the business as much. Maybe if they are really a functional analyst, then becoming technical is a little bit of a challenge. When you're trying to find that balance, I mean, I guess it depends each team. Like, you might have a little bit more, a little bit less, but when you're looking at that balance, is there do you skew maybe technical and have somebody ramp up and learn the business and hope they come up to speed, or what's your approach on that?
I think actually, if you do a good job and you have enough time, I used to spend a lot of time recruiting. If you spend enough time, you can find people good at both. Technical good, and as well as has business sense. But if I have a challenge of finding skills, people have both skills, I would prefer like technical skills, and I can train them in business skills because it's relatively easier. The technical skills, in terms of the technical structural, and then the way of the solving problems, engineering thinking, thought leaders, those are the things that I'm looking for. So technically and business wise, you can take some class and get trained very, very easily. But today, actually, you can find a lot of smart people that they're good at both. It is especially for folks has master degree in engineering, PhDs in engineering. You give them a little bit training in business, they can pick up. However, I do find difficulties a lot of time is people that have engineering training that they may have business degrees and a lot of business background. It's kind of more difficult for me to train them technically because they just, during their career, during their study, that they don't have those much training that it built up through the elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, or undergrad or graduate degrees. It's just very difficult to fill those skills. So I would recommend, if you do have to strike to make a balance, and I would skill to looking for people who has strong technical skills.
Absolutely. I guess when you're starting to look about, obviously, hiring an IC person is a little different, but when you start to look at, hiring a future leader, you want eventually somebody to take ownership, become a manager. Can you, as you're going through the interview process, is that in your mind as well in terms of, hey, I am looking for some of those attributes?
Oh yeah, it depending on the roles, right? Some of the role we have is individual contributors, but some of them is going to high potential, like for example, director level or senior level manager that they do potential has opportunity to grow their increase their impact. And then we do have to look for those traits. So there are several things, right? We always do like behavior interview, but a lot of time we also trying to find the future leaders within our current team. So a lot of time I look for is, are they able to do a good job, not only for themselves, but also if they were asked to work in a team, are they able to go above and beyond to coordinate the effort, as well as is be able to come with the strategy for the project that be able to deal with foreseeable or non-foreseeable difficulties that challenge in front of them. So those people that is able to always looking things at a high level, not at detail level. No matter how detailed the problem is, they always is able to go above and beyond several levels up to understand the implication of every step we take, and then what's a high level impact from this project, and how's this project that related to other teams. So if you look at the team member that has huge potential for bigger roles, for the bigger leadership roles, they always be able to come up with something that I haven't think about, the potential impact for other projects. If I do something like this, potential impact for other business, and can we do some? Although this doesn't happen, can we do a couple of additional steps to be able to expand the influence impact of our program, of our project? Or can we, from doing additional steps, be able to increase our impact or footprint within the company for other team, or direct impact to the top line or bottom line of company? So you always can find some people have strategic thinking like this. So those are the people that is the trait. Those are the traits I'm looking for the future leaders. And there are people there. I have to tell you, there are people I thought they should have. No matter what I do, like to give them some hint, to push them to be able to think that way. They may be able to think that way for after you push them on this project, they do something additional to increase the impact of the project. But next time, if you don't remind them, they forgot to do that. But the people that really have the leadership traits is, they may not know at the very beginning, but after I give them a hint a couple of times, later on in other projects, they will surprise me with this strategic thinking, strategic ideas that and come with something that is going to benefit at a high level benefit the entire group, not only me, but the entire group and the entire company. That's something I'm always looking for.
Absolutely. I mean, those are some great insights. Honestly, it's a, the hiring for future leaders is a lot of art and science. So getting your perspective, I think, is good. I think the more perspectives we get, we can try to see things through different lenses. I was going to ask you, I know our time's kind of coming to an end, but a question I'm asking a lot of guests is, if they could leave a topic or have a future question that they want a future guest to talk about, is there something that you would like a future guest or to talk about in terms of topic or question you might have?
Yeah, I think I would like to, as a very experienced leader in technology, and I've had years of working experience, but I look at my peers, right? Sometimes I hope you can get an answer from those future guests, but I think probably it's hard. I would like to learn how they get there, with especially folks. I'm at the VP level, but like senior VP level or a CEO, CFO, CTO, CSMO, CXO folks, how they get there, right? Can they share the insights? I think sometimes I did get asked around the peers that I think I look up to, but it depends on your relationship, right? If they're close to you, they may tell you the truth. But a lot of time they don't. Actually, I come across a leader in my previous business. I was a part of a woman in technology organization, and he is our guest speaker. He was actually the only one I feel like I got insight for traits in terms of how he get to that. He was at time as the CTO of the company and very high. And then I think he's still holding very high position today. And he told us how he get to his current position. It's very fascinating story. I can share that story with you. I don't have to name that person because I didn't have permission with him, but I can share with you. It's a fascinating story. He said he used to be, he said he never go to try to get some position, ask the managers or ask somebody to go out for lunch or go to their home or play golf with them. He never do that. But one thing he did it's amazing is, I think that's something that I learned and everybody can learn is, he said one time that they were in a design review meeting, right? So the leader is maybe at the time is CTO, whatever, or is in that company, want to come up with a design that, and I cannot share what the design goal they were sharing, but something like go to somewhere beyond the Mars, right? So we want to go have a project go above beyond. We have to design this vehicle that way, and then they can go to Mars in a day, something like that. But I can, because the question I cannot give you a detail. And then he started talking, and then there's a large group of them people in the conference room, and then also senior designers, senior engineers, and senior leaders. They all disappeared gradually because they said, this idea that never makes sense. It's no way that we can go to Mars in a day. Couldn't waste time. Maybe that's true, but not in your lifetime. And then I don't remember how many people. It's a large crowd, but at the end, actually, in the room, there's only two people left. One is that the senior CTO leader in the company, and then this guy. So this guy, he actually was at the time was the juniorest person in the room, but he's the only one left. And then the CTO asked him. He said, Amar, I just make them up the name. Amar, why you're still here? Why you don't leave? Guess what he said? He said, the more I listen, the more I feel like you need me to fulfill your goal. So I think I can work on that. So I think that, it's amazing that, that says how much, he pay attention to his leader, to help them to feel good, to help them to fulfill their dream. Although he did say that goal is not achievable at all. He knows it's not achievable. Anyway, so if we can get, in the future leader, if you can have someone very high up, right, to share how they get there. Of course, we know We all know how Elon Musk and how Steve Jobs and get to their position, and they're just entrepreneur, they're genius. But not everybody is genius or entrepreneur, right? If you just start with a regular engineer in a big company or accountant in a company, a finance guy in a company, how you can move up to CTO to CFO job, I think that's something probably a lot of my peers or the young folks that would be interested to learn. If you can get something answered like that, and from that perspective, I think that will help everybody. It's hard. It's hard.
No, it's not easy. Excuse me. And I think the story you shared was really insightful. And I'll definitely hopefully somebody listening to this episode might be a good guest, and they can reach out and have them on. I was going to thank you for your time. Also, if somebody does want to reach out to you and talk to you about anything you've mentioned, what's a good way of getting a hold of you? LinkedIn, is there a preferred way?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best because the email, sometimes I got a lot of spam and not necessarily open all the emails. I think that if they send me, I'm on the LinkedIn, I'm very active monitoring my LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn is the best.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for your time. Great insights, and appreciate it. That's it for this episode. We'll be back again, different guest, different topic. Until then, two things. One, I think the topic's great. If you're a senior VP, if you're a C-level executive, I think a lot of people would be curious to see, some of the insights of what it takes to get to the next level. I think that'd be benefit the entire community. And also, if you found the podcast useful, share it to somebody else. I know a lot of people building data teams. Yanyan had some great insights. Hopefully you'll find someone who can also enjoy it. But that's it for now. I'm back again. Until then, thank you and goodbye.